Hi, everyone. Thanks for stopping by the studio. This channel is really young, so I'd appreciate you hitting all the usual buttons, the like, subscribe, bell, all of that good stuff. Doing this, I'm not going to edit that. Doing this keeps the YouTube gremlins in line, helps the channel grow, and helps me get even more obscure professionals. Still trying to get that hypnotist. Fingers crossed. All that being said, stick around because I have me, and it's time to discuss full stack developers. So normally the way this will work is that I'll bring in someone and we can talk about what they do and how they got there and all that good stuff. But I thought it would only be fitting if I actually started the series with myself and put myself on the line there. So I was a full stack developer. I am no longer a full stack developer. I'm actually more of I'm in a leadership position now. I started out as a freelance designer. I didn't go to school for web development or anything like that. I kind of went in kind of like the back door. I took the backdoor approach, as I say. Didn't go for design, didn't go for development, none of that stuff. So went to school, graduated with a bachelor's, ended up doing freelance design and development. Did that for about 10 years or so. And then had an opportunity to work with an organization as an in-house developer. I was what you call a full stack developer. Web developers come in two different flavors. You have at least it used to be this, but I don't even know if it still is, but you have your front-end developer and you have your back-end developer. Your front-end developers, they create the stuff that goes, that the browser interacts with. So it might be buttons that are animated, different animation effects on a page, things like that. Whereas the backend developers, they write code that interacts with data on the server side. So you might log into your favorite email provider, and after you log in, it shows the subjects and the from of all the people of the emails that you have currently. So it pulls that information from the database. You then see it on the screen. And then you might click into one. It's going to pull that data from the server again, and again, you can read it. But anything that's happening within the browser itself before you change pages, that's all on the front end. So you have the front end, you have the back end. A full stack is a combination of the two. So you'll have a person that not only works on writing the code to pull content from the server, but then you also are the one that is then generating the effects that happen with that same data. So that's what I did. I was what you call a full stack developer. And like that, I started out as a freelance designer developer before that. Like I said before, I did not go to school for this, but I knew this is something I wanted to do. I kind of got put in this position in a weird way. Kind of a friend was looking for a web person. They lost their web person and they were looking for someone. They're scrambling. And I was like, well, I kind of did this. For those of you out there that remember GeoCities, I had a page that was a GeoCities page. And I thought, sure, I can see what I can do. So I went ahead and I helped this person out, and then I started getting more and more clients. And before you knew it, I was doing a freelance thing. But what I really, really wanted, I wanted to be an in-house developer. So I'd get, all the benefits of being a full-time employee and not just doing the freelance stuff. Don't get me wrong, freelance has great advantages, but I wanted the consistency that comes with being in-house. So like that, my education, I did not go for comp sci or anything like that. Anyone that is looking to get into the web development space probably should utilize a comp sci degree. There are web certificates out there. So if you want to do something like that, there's also web security certificates, things of that nature. All of those things are good. If you're looking to be more of a front-end developer, you would probably also want to have some design under your belt as well. So go to school for graphic design, anything of that nature, any kind of artistic degree will help you. It isn't uncommon for different organizations to substitute education experience with years experience. So they might say, a master's degree or 6 years experience or something like that. So there is a decent amount of weight in the experience realm as well, but not every place is like that, but something to keep in mind. So if you're looking to get into this space and you're looking to kind of get in through the back door like I did, you want to freelance is not a bad option. Okay. The next question I typically ask the person I'm talking with, I might ask them about, is this their first career or is this a second or third career or tertiary career? Because I want to know if I'm looking to change careers, how can I get down this path? So for me, like I said, this was, well, it was kind of more my second career because I was doing it as freelance, but it wasn't paying the bills. I was doing other jobs at the time. So I kind of transitioned into this career. So for me, the way I made it work, I did the freelance. But if this is your first career, probably going through the education route is going to be the best option. I've always been very fascinated with technology. I grew up building computers, taking them apart, popping pieces in, popping pieces out. In fact, I'd say my first career, I was actually a tech. Yeah, I was fixing computers. I was doing a little bit of network stuff, troubleshooting. I worked with AV stuff as part of that as well. So I was more of a tech person. I love technology, not as much as I used to, but it was always a thing I was interested in. So for me, this is a very natural path for me to go down. I didn't really explore any other fields as more like tech related. I knew I wanted to be in the tech industry. Um, if you want to be successful as a developer in some capacity, a full stack developer, um, the one of the nice things, it's you're not really tied to a geographical location. You can really work anywhere in the world. The World Wide Web is not on your desk; it's out there. So that is one of the huge benefits. When everything happened with COVID, my team didn't have any issues transitioning to a fully remote environment because everything we do is on the cloud already. So that worked out very well for us. However, it is a double-edged sword because you are working with people all over the world. You could be competing with people that demand a lower salary. So that could be challenging as well. When it comes to, how do I want to phrase this? This part I will edit out. Got it. Got my train of thought back. One of the nice things about web development, it's kind of like working with a puzzle. You're presented with these challenges, and you have to find sometimes creative solutions to solve the problem. And it can be frustrating. You might work for days on a particular section of code, and then you might come in one morning and you have an epiphany, and 5 minutes later you knock it out. So that can be kind of challenging, but as with any major challenge, the reward that comes with that challenge is just really, really great. So I definitely think anyone that has a liking for puzzles or likes creativity, I think this career is a good move because you do have to explore your creative side with code, what can be done, what can't be done. If someone says, I need X, Y, Z, you might not have the luxury of saying, well, I don't know how to do that, or it can't be done. They might say, well, no, you got to figure it out. So it is kind of neat. You do get to solve those puzzles. One of the things I used to really like, I used to like integrating with different systems. So you might have a third party that you're working with. They have the data, you're pulling the data from them, and then you're doing stuff with it. Or maybe you're taking information from this place, and you bring it together and bring something. Oh, good thing that's on shock mount. From this place and this place, you bring it together and then you put it out on your page. And that's really, really cool. There are a lot of really great things that come out of that. But the problem happens when, this company over here changes the way they present their data, or the way they do authentication or something like that. Or, this company goes away or was bought out and now they don't offer the service, or the price increases for the service that was previously free or something like that. So these are some challenges that you're going to encounter as a developer when you rely on third parties. You can do a lot of really, really cool things by integrating with third parties, but the double-edged sword is when things change, it can be catastrophic to your end result, and your product that you have can all of a sudden just break. And that's not fun to fix. And sometimes you might be dealing with different personalities and politics, and you got to do what you got to do. And like that, sometimes they don't say, no is not an option. You got to make it work. And that could be very, very challenging. The one thing I will say too, hours working, any job, you're going to have certain hours, obviously. Web developers, depending where you're working, it could be a very strict 40 hours a week, or it could be 50, 60 hours a week. I was very fortunate in my career that where I worked, my organization, I will say it was not commercial. So I generally had very steady hours, and when the day was done, it was done. Every once in a while, I would get a call that they needed me or my team to do something, or we might know that we'd have to do something that evening or that weekend, and we might have to put in a few hours. But it was very, very rare, fortunately. It wasn't like we were regularly pulling in even 45 hours a week, or upwards of 60, 80. It was never like that. Where I was very fortunate. It was always like 40 hours a week. When the day was over, it was over. So that's something to bear in mind, that depending where you're working, your hours could be like capped, or it could be up there. So keep that in mind. After hours stuff, not uncommon with development, because like that, things break, and when people all over the world, depending on your service, it needs to get resolved. And at this point here, I'd usually like to ask some kind of surprise question for the person that I'm interviewing. Usually something kind of silly, something lighthearted, something to kind of gauge their personality. So I will go with something easy for me, and I will say, my favorite candy. I have an awful sweet tooth, terrible sweet tooth. Even if I don't like it, I'll eat it. But I do like any of the fruity candies, the Starburst, the Skittles, the Airheads. Any of that stuff is always very tasty. Um, but I have some other good questions for other talent that I'll have on the show, and it'll really get them thinking. So I took the easy way out with a nice simple question, but they're not going to have it as easy. And then finally, what I like to do is close out the segment. I'd like to give the town an opportunity to talk about either their business or a business, a cause, initiative, or a creative project which they're working on. So I'd like to give them about 60 seconds to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug some music that I recently discovered. It's on danswift.com. 90s music is what it feels like to me, and I kind of grew up in that era, so for me, I think it's awesome. But check it out if you like creative stuff, something a little bit interesting. Danswift.com. There are links there to purchase and stream and whatever. So check it out. And that's it. That's it for this one. So thanks for stopping by the studio, and thanks for watching Time We Discuss. I hope you found what I had to say interesting. If you enjoyed the content or learned something interesting, do me a solid, comment, like, share, subscribe, all those good things. Not only does that help the channel, it also keeps all those YouTube gremlins at bay. We don't need any more gremlins around, that's for sure. If you want to join me in the studio, or if you have a profession that you'd like me to cover, please follow the sign-up link at timewediscuss.com, and we'll get you on the schedule. Ask your friends or coworkers to do the same. When you sign up, use promo code DEVELOPER. That way I know you came after watching this video. If this video brings in, we'll start low. We'll say 3 people. I'm going to go buy let's say a dragon fruit for the kids. That could be fun. I've never had it before, and they haven't either, so that'll be cool. So I need 3 people, and then I'll get them a dragon fruit. That'll do it. Until next time, be safe, have fun.